Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Advanced Workflow Engine in order to connect to a remote site using FTP or SFTP and retrieve a listing of the files available, and then take those files and place them into a data set in order to be manipulated further by advanced workflows. So this is a very useful process in order to just connect to a site and find out what's actually there on the site, and then you can take those files and choose what to do with them from there in case you don't want to download them all or delete them all or things like that. Maybe you want to check to see if a file exists before doing anything. So just right now I'm going to show you the connection to the site. I'm actually using FTP in this instance here. I'm going to go ahead and connect to the site. You can see here I have three file names here: file, older, and oldest. So these are just three different file types that I've uploaded to this site in order to actually connect to the site and download them. So going back over here to my EFT server, I'm actually just going to build this advanced workflow from scratch. We'll just call this import file listing into a data set. Okay, it's just coming up here. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to want to download or actually log on to the FTP server. So I'm going to use a network session and connect, actually add an FTP session here. Now this is just going to be log on. This is basically just going to be used to establish my session. I'm going to connect to that same server. I don't think we should need anything under advanced except for the protocol. So all I'm going to do is just basically establishing a standard connection to an SFTP server. And we're going to store it in a particular session called FTP session. Okay, now this is where it gets fun. So we're going to add another FTP action, and the activity to perform is going to be under the advanced section. So we're going to get long file lists. This is actually the default option. So the parameters in this case are going to be star.star, but this could be anything. In this case, we could actually use star.txt. So this is going to basically list any files with the txt extension. Now, you can populate variable with the sent data. It's not what we want to do in this situation. We actually just want to create a data set and populate it with the listing information. So here we're just going to call this the new data set. And after this situation, you could actually use that data set from here on out. Now, at this point, we should already have the file names. Now, let's go ahead and run it here and take a look at our output. And we should be able to see that actually filled in the variable. So now you can see here, the file.txt here is actually stored in this data set variable, the FTP file name variable. So this is just one actual element of that particular data set. So now we just need to loop through this data set and then actually retrieve these file names. So we're going to go here down to the loop section, and we're going to choose the loop data set option. Now remember, our data set is called new data set. So that's it. We're already going to look through there. Now what happens is it's going to loop through each item of that data set, and for each item it's going to perform the action that is listed or that is nested inside of the loop. So just for giggles here, we'll just go ahead and write this file, write these file names to a file, just to prove that we're actually doing it. So the file here is going to be this file list.txt. Okay, so that's the file I'm going to be. Now the data to actually write, remember, it's going to be our variabilized data. So in this case, it's going to be the data set FTP file name. So if you're wanting to just type it, this is going to be the format that you're going to use. You're going to use %, then it's going to be the data set name followed by a dot, followed by the FTP file name variable. Now the FTP file name variable is a variable that's actually built in. So we'll go ahead and add it here. And at this point we should be good to go. We should be able to connect to the site, then create the data set, then loop through that data set, and then write all those files to the text file. Now, just to make this a little bit more complete, we'll probably just want to log off of that session so we don't leave an active session until we're timed out. Alright, so let's go ahead and run this. Now, pretty quick, because it's some pretty basic functions here, but we should see now in the file list.txt that the files have actually been written. Now you're going to see the file names actually being written here. So this is a pretty powerful tool. So when you loop it, you could actually sort it. You could potentially find out which file is newest and things like that. So this is actually pretty useful functionality. You can check for a certain file to see if it's there before you start doing another process. So there are many applications to this particular advanced workflow, and it is pretty simple to build. So that's it for this video. Thanks.